morning. Today is Friday. I know in a lot of people's minds that's when the magic happens. I hope it's going to be gorgeous. Sounds like the weather will be beautiful. I'm setting an intention for it to be beautiful. Let's get our book for today. And I thought I would send you to class early in case you wanted to feel inspired and have the day to yourself. Interesting that today's reading is We Are One and We Are Many. That sensation of inclusiveness, and that's been a message in the news and social media. It's sad that it took a lot happening in the world right now for this to become a message that should be automatic. We talked about interconnectivity in yoga all the time. Our body is interconnected, our our body, breath, mind are interconnected, and ourselves are interconnected within our own community and on the larger scale. Each of us is a unique individual. Each of us has had particular tastes, preferences, and talents, and each of us has our own personal way of being in the world. But folded into our individual selves are many different selves, each one formed from the diversity of our experiences and the cultivation over time of our tastes and sensibilities. We are made up of many, and yet we are one. When we feel powerless or blocked, this is what we need to remember. We are infinite. We hold infinite possibility because we are one, but we are many. So I love that contrast. I thought today we would continue with some simplicity, some of the simple stuff we did on the floor yesterday, and then continue with the cards, that game format we use to explore poses we haven't done in a while. So let's come into seated. I'm going to switch it out, bring my non-dominant leg in front, sitting up nice and straight. And let's take 5 breath rounds. Maybe hands are turned down if you are feeling hyper. Open palm if you're just beginning your day and you need some energy. Deep inhale through the nose. Pause. Exhale through the mouth. We're going to do this 5 times using our mouth. We don't normally use the mouth much in our practice, in our pranayama, but it does slow down the sympathetic nervous system initially. Inhale through the nose, big breath. Pause. Exhale through the mouth. And actually, let's switch back to our in and out through the nose. Inhale through the nose. Pause. Exhale through the nose. Inhale through the nose. Pause. And exhale through the nose. And one last time, 5th time. Inhale through the nose. Pause. And exhale through the nose. And don't open your eyes. Let's stay here for 2 breaths without moving. Take this time to analyze the body. And notice that contrast of heaviness of your actual body. And maybe lightness in your head. Lower half of the body tends to be more grounded, heavy, tomasic, almost like a stone. Upper half tends to be more ethereal, lighter. I notice the temperature on the lower half of my body warmer as the heat of my limbs press into the floor. And the upper half of my body noticing the cool air circulating around me. Notice any parts of the body are sore and don't really want to sit cross-legged. And then slowly open your eyes. Let's take our hands to the side, tented. So instead of mountain, where we're standing, we're going to do it seated. So I like to press my fingertips into the floor, then arms to the side, reach up, lengthen. Exhale, hands down, swan dive. So I'm really emulating the sun salutations, but seated. Half back, fold, arms to the side wide, and heart center. And this is to get my lungs moving, but also to get some blood flow in the upper body. Let's do 5 rounds. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Half back. Pick up your heart, look forward. Exhale, fold. Arms to the side wide, and heart center. 3 more. Inhale, up. Exhale, fold. Half back. Fold. Arms to the side wide, and heart center. Thumbs down the center, pressing maybe into your sternum. 2 more. Inhaling up. Exhale, fold. Half back. Fold. Arms to the side wide. And heart center. And 1 more time. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Half back. Fold. Arms to the side wide. And heart center. And I have a lovely last minute visit yesterday. I saw Franca, Liz, and Paul, Leslie for a nice long chat. I saw Anna, she lives on my street, our Friday night class. And a phone chat with Carolyn. I'm trying to think who else. Lots of people. It's so neat how we're all kind of, the sun is bringing us out of the woodwork. Let's do a tiny spinal twist here. Right hand, left knee, left hand behind you. Sit up straight. I use my tented fingers to resist the floor, growing tall in my spine. And I'm going to turn to the left, looking over that left shoulder. And then counter twist, turn to the right. Left hand, right knee. Right hand tented. Push to the floor and grow tall. And then back to center. Okay, let's do a little bit on the floor. Knees to chest, side to side little boat. Or circles. Just get to know how your tailbone feels today. And then maybe do some egg beaters. So you're swirling the legs one direction and the other. Rocking side to side. Let's take away our arms to use a bit of core. So starting those circles again. And maybe you prefer floppy, relaxed ankles, or maybe you're flexing, pressing those thighs and ankles together. Engage the core. Option to spread those nails and press them to the floor so that that interconnectivity is every muscle in my body, grounding down. And then switch directions. Feet in the air, start to draw circles. One direction and the other. You can separate your legs and do tiny circles. So I'm starting to now wake up the back of the hamstrings. I don't have them flexed, I'm just relaxed. Maybe the circles get bigger, waking up the hips, thighs, hamstrings, and finally let it fall wide. Let's take 5 breaths here, wide and relaxed. See what gravity does for the inner thighs and the hips. Inhale 1. Exhale. Inhale 2. Full to capacity. Pause. Exhale 3. Exhale 2. Inhale 3 to capacity. Exhale 4. Inhale 4 to capacity. Exhale 4. And last time, inhale 5 to capacity. Pause. Exhale. Help your legs close. And once more back to circles. So some of you were saying that it's uncomfortable to sit up straight in Dandasana or staff pose with our legs extended. For my desk friends, it's most likely because your hamstrings and hips get affected from sitting at a right angle at your desk. And I feel like since COVID, if you're a desk worker, you're even more of a desk worker. When you were in an office, you had to get up and go to the photocopier and maybe go to meetings and go for lunch. Now everything is in a seated glue position. So do yourself a favor and either open your knees a little bit and bend at the waist. Maybe come to a squat against the wall to release your hamstring and back. Maybe sit on the floor in Dandasana a bit, or stand up and do a tiny forward fold with your knees bent. Let's take our hands to our shins, and how deeply can we pull these thighs in? Take this time to notice the lower back as you pull the thighs in. You're essentially taking your body into a very confined squat on your back. And then softly rock side to side without expecting to go all the way over. I'm going to take our knees to the floor on the left. Right shoulder anchored.
Something, if you are interested in, there is a Black Lives Matter Aurora group now. They're very peaceful. They're on Facebook, but they are having a march. I believe it's at Yonge and Henderson on Sunday at 1:30. I will find out the details. Unfortunately, I'm going to be another event downtown. But anyone who's curious and walking in solidarity, just to support, there's no riots, there's no looting, there's nothing negative. It's just to show a visual support to our community that we stand with people of color, specifically Black friends, and what's happening globally. We're not saying it happens in Toronto, well, we're not saying it happens in Aurora, but that we care. And we're supporting a silent, quiet support. And it'll be a chance to meet other interesting woke people in Aurora. Numbers speaks volumes, and it'll be, I've noticed it's already, they're talking about social distancing, 6 feet apart, wear your mask. Oh, I'm gonna come to center. Let's take our knees to the right. I know some of you probably have been to marches and things like that throughout your life for things that matter to you. And to me today, this seems, when I think of the things that I used to fight for, they seem so trivial compared to the human lives we're talking about now. And just the opportunity to live as you are, as God made you. And then back to center. Let's do one more time. Knees to the left, right arm extends, palm up, look to the right palm. And then knees to the right, arm to the left, look to the left. So we see that contrast. I can feel a definite difference on the dominant side of my body, tight, resisting, relaxing. And then back to center, little boat or circles. Right leg in tight, left foot, I'm going to drop it first. And I don't have to flex or anything yet, just pause, pulling that right thigh into your belly. And then slowly extend the left leg. And checking in with that hip. How does the left hip feel today as you extend your leg? If you need to keep it bent, listen to your body. And each time I breathe out, I feel my hips move a little deeper, more deeply into this position. Left hand takes right knee over, single leg spinal twist. Right arm extends, palm up. Back to center, thighs to chest, little boat. I also want to mention, don't beat yourself up if you're not doing 5 classes a week. Some people are using this as an opportunity, left leg in, right leg extends. Some people are using this as an opportunity to do more classes than they had the time in their schedule before because of the evening and the morning breakup. With this format, you can watch this class whenever you want. However, I don't want to add to the stress. So if you used to only do 2 classes a week, then that is what's comfortable for you. Pick the 2 on the days that you're used to, or let the universe decide. The other nice thing is you can keep them, there's no expiry to the links. You won't find them if you go back on YouTube. Some of them are private for you guys. But you can keep them in your emails. And you can revisit them anytime you want. And then back to center, little boat or circles. Let's take our knees wide. We did that opener at the very beginning, so I'm going to hold my kneecaps and gently let gravity stretch the knees wide and open. Option to stay here. Option to pull the thighs towards your side body. Hands behind the knees. Maybe you're choosing to do a bit of counter pressure here, pulling back with those hands. Or maybe your body wants to come into full happy baby today. Choosing stillness or gently rocking side to side. Back to center, soles of the feet together. Maybe you're binding on the blades, maybe you're holding your ankles. So you'll hear us refer to breathe into your back. Some of these cues are not anatomically correct, they're just visuals. So when I say breathe into my back, I want to consciously take a big breath, but press my whole back rib cage, lower back into the floor. Sometimes when we resist against the hardness of the floor or the wall, we get a deeper grip or a deeper breath than if we were just standing in mountain. Feet to the mat, soles together, knees out to the side, arms wide. And then close your legs, thighs to chest circles. We're going to do a quick shoelace. Legs in tight, right over left, hands on opposite knees, and gently pull your thighs towards you. What do you notice about your left bum cheek, or your right bum cheek, your right glute, maybe your right hip? Release, shake it out, we'll do the other side. Thighs are close together into your chest, left over right, hands on opposite knees, pull those thighs in. Take 3 big breath rounds here, breathing into your back, pressing into the hardness of the floor. And release, shake it out. Oh, did I even grab it? Yes, I did. I'm gonna roll into my side, curl into a ball, and then slowly push yourself upright. So let's do a quickie cat-cow. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Press the floor away. Do this a couple times. So by pressing the floor away, you're kind of waking up your shoulder girdle. Press the floor away and relax. Engage your core, tailbone to the sky, look up, and then turn into a cat. Back and forth. Cow, cat, cow, cat, cow, cat. And we'll do a bird dog, but we're not gonna do sun salutation today. I would like that to be, if you want to do it, you're gonna pause this and do 2 or 3 rounds. Let's take our right hand to the floor, left knee to the floor. Step back, right foot, then left hand. When you're ready, flex, coming to hip height. Reach out, engage the core, lengthen. Looking at the top of your mat, you bring that left bicep in line with your right ear. Lengthen out, and yet still squeezing the center. Undo, extended child's pose. Back to tabletop. Left hand, right knee, you're gonna stay down. Left foot steps back, right arm reaches. Flex, engage, and lengthen. So remember, energy moving in opposite directions. Towards the imaginary line in the center. Engage the core, lengthen. Undo, extended child's pose. And then back to tabletop. Okay, we have been doing this yoga game, and I actually love it. It doesn't matter who I bring this game up to. It's an opportunity to refresh your yoga vocabulary and revisit poses that we sometimes fall out of habit with. It's not that we avoid poses, just that our body seems to remember certain ones, whether they're reinforced by iconography and images in our media. When you think about what a vitamin ad would show you, if it said it was showing you a yoga pose, it tends to be tree, tends to be warrior. What would a stereotype of yoga be on a movie of a woman at a class? Right off the bat, that's the first stereotype. The woman walking to the class carrying a mat, hot lady, New York City downtown, or maybe LA, going to the yoga class, and it's all hot, beautiful people, and let me guess, there's an exposed stone or brick wall. There's usually a hot male instructor or a hippie female instructor. So all these stereotypes are funny. They're not necessarily bad.
But let's break them by visiting some poses that we don't necessarily think to go to automatically. So I'm going to spin the spinner. I got red. Half moon. I love this pose. You know that I normally prefer it with a block. First, we're going to do it from tabletop. You are not going to love this because we have to shift our weight to the right. I'm going to move my right arm out a bit. Step back left foot. Open out left arm. So I might stay here. This is half moon on the floor. But if I want to go further, I might lift that left leg up. Now I'm in half moon, so I can keep it down or up. So you might prefer this instead of standing because less balance issues. Flex, fill out the shape, and I'm going to do the other side. Shift to my left hand, left knee. I tuck my left toe for stability. Come to my right fingers, open. So I can stay, I keep that right foot down, or I can lift it up. And now we're going to do the standing version. Standing up, coming up to the top of your mat in forward fold. Arms to the side, rise, and let go. Okay, with or without the box. So you remember we've used an apple juice can under our hand. You could use a stack of blocks. You could use nothing. When I use nothing, what happens is I definitely see the difference in length between my arm and my leg. So I'm going to put all my weight into my right foot, bend the knee slightly. Right hand to the mat, left hand to my left hip. Start to shift my forward into that right hand, right foot. Maybe lift the left leg up. You can continue staring down at that right hand, it's a bit more stable. Or open up. Left leg out, left arm up. Undo. Let's do the other side. You might prefer the floor version. Left hand, left foot are going to hold me erect. Shift my weight. Maybe I bring right arm out, maybe not. I like to come up onto my tented fingers. Right hand, right hip. Roll the right hip back, roll the right shoulder back. Often take that arm to the sky. Undo. That's a lot of work. So I think maybe the floor version will be good for you. Wild card. Let's do blue. Knee to ear. So this is very similar to a plow. I'm not going to do this because it's really, I'll show you. No, I'm not going to show you. We're going to focus more next week on poses like that. We do avoid them because I don't want you to get injured. Knee to ear is basically a plow, but and children are very good at this. If you have anyone little in your life, ask them to come into a plow and then they can bring their knees to the floor or to their ears. Butterfly, we also call it bound angle, and we also call it cobbler, the theory that these would be my shoes. I'm going to bring the feet in, interlace my hands, holding the feet, binding them together. If you have anyone in your life in gymnastics, you'll see them butterfly like this. We don't tend to do that in yoga. I know they do it in karate sometimes. Instead, let's take right hand holding my feet. Left hand's going to add a gentle counter pressure, attempting to make the hips equal. And then switch. Let's take 2 breaths. I'm going to come back. Left hand, left knee. Right knee wants to drop down for me automatically, so I'm going to help press the left knee down just a little, sitting upright. You might see some teachers try to bring their heels all the way to the pubic bone. You do not have to do that. Our hips are not meant to do that. And then switch. Left hand on binding the feet, right hand gently pushes the knee down. Okay, let's see what's next. Green! Marici's pose 3, spinal twist with an extended leg. We often will do this as a series, and I think the extended leg one is the more universal one. Left leg out, right leg over. Let's see how deeply she brings that leg up. She brings it quite far up. So you'll hear me offer, if your hips are tight, that foot is down by the ankle, the left ankle, or the right foot is up by the calf, or the knee, or the thigh. However, the hips stay squared off. Glutes and sits bones are down. And I'm going to take my left arm first to do the hugging because my left leg is extended. Pulling that knee to the midline. Right arm comes to the side and behind me. Sitting up nice and straight, twisting around. Maybe look over that right shoulder. And then counter twist, I'm gonna leave the legs where they are, but my upper body comes all the way around and counter twist. Right hand holds the arch, left hand behind you. Twist. And back to center. Roll at the ankles, of course we want to do the other side. Left leg over. Your choice how far up the leg that left foot is coming beside the right leg. Both feet are flexed. Because my right leg is extended, my right arm is going to hug. So I'm going to hug, sit up nice and straight, left hand tented either beside me or behind me. Looking over that left shoulder, you're going to decide how deeply you want to twist into this, spiral into this twist. And then counter twist. I like to hold left hand to left arch, right hand tented to the floor, sit up straight, roll that right shoulder back. Back to center and roll out your ankles. Spin, wild card. Let's do red. Oh, sideways extended pose. I use this as a hamstring stretch. So, because we didn't do the strap today, let's see what it feels like. I'm going to come into tabletop and help myself come into a standing forward fold. And we start in mountain. I'm going to take right foot forward, maybe left foot comes back. And to get into it, you're probably going to bend your knees. This is where we would use a block on each side typically. I'm going to bend my knee till my hands can come to the floor. Both feet are pointing forward as if I was doing triangle. So you might stay here with your knees super bent. You might lift your left heel to accommodate this. You might start to straighten this right leg or not. Maybe you continue lifting the left heel. And I do kind of a dance. Left heel drops, right toe lifts. Back and forth till I find a place where this feels good. Today that's tight because we haven't done anything. So I'm going to switch. Left foot forward, right foot back. I might lift the right heel so I can straighten this left leg as I forward fold. Or I might drop the right heel and bend the left knee. So it's a finite amount of tissue behind both legs attached. So if one stretches and one is tight, you need to help accommodate it so they both can be in this pose. And then we're all done that pose. I was thinking for Fern, let's quickly do a 2-minute plank and then we'll come back to the poses. So setting up your tabletop, get my hair out of the way. Palms out of the shoulders, knees out of the hips. Don't do this if you're tired, give yourself a break, or hold it a minute. I'll tell you when we get to a minute. I'm going to step back, high plank, head in line with my spine, engage your core. My feet are about 1 or 2 fist width apart, but my shoulders are the width, my palms are the width of my shoulders. Feel that heat immediately. That was 30 seconds. Almost at a minute if you're going to do a minute today. Okay, that's 1 minute. I'm going to continue for another minute. Maybe you need to make an adjustment or come into a downward dog while you're here. Haven't had my coffee. I can feel it. I'm surprised I can talk to you guys. Okay, that's 1:30. Let's go 30 more seconds. You can do it. Think of the heat you're building through the whole body. Remember we talk about hot yoga slams heat externally to the body. Whereas traditional yoga, you're like a little furnace. You start with the heat in the center and it radiates outward. It's a lot more natural for your muscles, skin, your movement. 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes, 5 more seconds. Awesome work, guys. That was 2 minutes. That's a nice fiery way to start your day. And let's do a few more cards. Hopefully no one calls me. Okay. Green. Locust pose. We're gonna do it, but I'm not gonna go hardcore because we haven't done anything to warm up our tailbone and lower back. So coming into our belly. This is one of my favorite back bends. Palms to your thighs, shoulders back. Maybe you keep the belly fully down. Maybe you engage your glutes, lift higher. Maybe you take your strap behind you to open the chest. Flippers up, squeezing those thighs and the inner ankles towards each other. So I call that my flippers. And then we're gonna come out, stack your hands, bend your knees, windshield wiper. Okay, next one. Oh, I got green again. Upward dog. Okay, let's come to upward dog from downward dog. Now, a lot of us are afraid of our wrists. So I'm gonna come to tabletop, tuck my toes, press into downward dog. Maybe I'm gonna lean forward into high plank, find my nice length. For up dog, I know you're gonna wanna flip, and then come in up dog. Oh, roll over your toes, down dog. Roll over your toes, up dog. The difference between up dog and cobra is you can see my body's off the floor. Equal distribution of weight into your palms and the tops of your feet. The benefit is pose, it's kind of like I've taken what we just did, locust, and elevated. I've engaged all the cords at the front lines of the body. And let's do 3 more. Red. Warrior 2. Normally we come to the warriors as a whole series. I like them connected, but this card is telling me we're doing one warrior on its own. So warrior 2 is the iconic one you see in a lot of vitamin ads. I'm gonna come to the back of my mat into mountain. Right foot forward. It tracks in line with that right knee. Left foot pivots. I'm gonna lock it down, and that's gonna help me be stable. Then, if this was triangle, my legs would stay straight, but because my right knee bends in line with my right ankle. I'm gonna bring my hips are actually facing the same direction as my inner thighs. Arms out to a T, reach out through those fingers, but I'm gonna look over that right middle power finger. Lengthen out, engage the core, even though it's hard in this position, and then I'm gonna come back up. To make it into the other direction, here's my easy way. I'm literally gonna pivot, right foot locks, left foot pivots outwards, left knee bends warrior 2. So you could come in and out if you really wanted. That's the gentle transition. And you know, nothing is by accident yoga. That warrior pose, is very, very much a folklore in Indian or Hindu history. Plank, we're not going to do that because we just did that. Reclining hero, we're not going to do that because we just did that yesterday, and I think people's bodies aren't ready. So this mountain pose has the girls seated, totally different than our mountain pose, but let's do this. Let's sit cross-legged or Dandasana, legs extended. I'm going to do this for Fern. Legs extended, and thank you to Fern. She fostered a really sweet dog I was trying to find a home for someone who's temporarily between homes. So that's a really special kind of foster, not knowing if she'll have this little Yorkie forever or just as an experience for her daughter and her. So I'm going to sit with my legs out extended. Thank you to all of you who offered to help. I only called people who already have Yorkies or love Yorkies, so don't feel insulted if you can get called. If, however, you'd like to foster kittens, I'm getting a million contacts from people in the area because it's kitten season and it's horrific how many people are leaving bags of kittens, boxes of kittens, abandoning them, and they need foster homes just for a couple weeks, and sometimes it's actually a really fun experience. So, I digress. Back to Dandasana. I could choose to keep my hands beside me, press into the floor, sit upright,
or to a T, engage the core, bring the shoulder blades back together. Maybe this one's for you, Fern. Or even meaner, arms in the sky, warrior one, arms in mountain or Dandasana. Let's take 5 breath rounds. So maybe, I have an idea. We're gonna pick 5 breath rounds in each variation. So arms in the sky, feet are flexed, heels pressed down, thighs pressed together, engage your core, and stare straight ahead. So that means my neck is in a neutral position. Squeeze that imaginary beach ball. Resist the urge to lift your shoulders up, so bring them back down and engage. 1. Inhale 2. Hold. Exhale 2. Inhale 3. Hold. Exhale 3. Inhale 4. Hold. Exhale 4. And inhale 5. Hold. Exhale 5. Arms to a T. This is going to feel like a holiday. Notice I started with the hardest first. Reaching out in opposite directions. Flex those fingers and then pull the shoulders back in. So you're going to reach out and pull back in. Engage your core. There's that flesh corset of muscles supporting your back. Inhale 1. Pause. Exhale 1. Inhale 2. Pause. Exhale 2. Inhale 3. Pause. Exhale 3. Inhale 4. Pause. Exhale 4. Inhale 5. Pause. Exhale 5. Last version. You can tent your fingers to the floor and sit up straight, or press your flat palms into the floor beside your hips and bum. Shoulders back, belly engaged. I'm in traditional Dandasana or staff pose. Shoulders back. Inhale 1. Pause. Exhale 1. Inhale 1, 2. Pause. Exhale 2. Inhale 3. Pause. Exhale 3. And inhale 4. Pause. Exhale 4. Inhale 5. Pause. Exhale 5. And that is going to be intense, so maybe roll your ankles. You can take your hands to your thigh flesh and gently jiggle it. Today's yoga wisdom for healing. Let's see what we have. I'm shuffling. Rely on yourself. Interesting. This is something I was just telling. I tell my son this all the time, and all my friends who are going through divorces and slowly shifting to becoming single women. Rely on yourself. It has a picture of a woman in a boat using a moon to paddle the boat herself, using her resources. Look at the issue of dependency. Do you rely upon others to do what you should be doing for yourself? Healing is a solo endeavor. And while we all need support during this process, ultimately the task of self-empowerment rests with us. Your goal to identify and modify the ways in which you release personal responsibility to others. Wow. I've had a flood of people in my life suddenly confide that their marriages are at stake, and my cousin's a psychologist, and she said all the psychology people in the sphere are talking about how all these things that must have been brewing have all come to surface during COVID, and they kind of predicted this would happen, especially in the domestic marriage world. So what I do recommend is there is a thing called the York Women's Center, and just Google it. If anyone in your life you think is experiencing trauma in their marriage or in their family home life, and you think that they need support, sending them to, there's the hotline there, there's a crisis support worker. There's a crisis support worker if you call South Lake and call their main operator and say, can I have the crisis support worker on call? And then CAMH, CAMH, they have a crisis support worker, but if I do with the York Region one, they'll keep me in the York Region file and hopefully hook you up with a York Region counselor. A lot of it now is covered by the Ontario government, especially during COVID, so if you need assistance or you know someone in your life who needs assistance, reach out. You can be supportive, but you don't have to shoulder that on your own. Thank you so much for your help today, staying positive, being in your practice. I hope you have a beautiful Friday and a gorgeous weekend. The good in me sees the good in you. Namaste.